chicken and broccoli bake is a classic combination, and I'm going to put some bacon into this. So it's a really simple recipe, served with rice or a baked potato, whatever you want to. First thing we need to do is preheat your pan. We're going to use some nice rapeseed oil. The Simply Better one is from Wicklow. And then we're going to put in some butter. So I love using the butter and the rapeseed oil. You're getting beautiful flavour, but the rapeseed oil will stop the butter from burning, which is really important. So I'm going to use the corn-fed chicken, and this is the skinless chicken breast here, Board BA quality mark. So I've just literally diced into nice big cubes. That's 3 breasts of chicken there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop that into the preheated pan. So just give it a minute or two just to literally warm up. Now I want to get a little bit of colour on that, and then we'll season that. So keep the temperature nice and high in that. We're going to get some salt, so I'm using some Oriole sea salt. And then a little bit of black pepper. Lovely. Okay, mushrooms. My sisters, some of them don't like mushrooms, and these are some chestnut mushrooms. So all I've done, and a little tip for you with mushrooms, you never wash them. You get a clean J cloth or a little bit of kitchen paper, and just make sure it's damp, and give them a little wipe. So what I'm going to do, I'm literally going to cut these into quarters, or you can slice them, it doesn't really matter. So these are lovely, kind of like a firm little mushroom, lots of lovely flavour, and they add great texture to this recipe. But again, if you don't like them, you can leave them out. Now I am going to add in some smoked bacon, or some bacon should I say. You can put smoked bacon in, but I'm using these lardons here, and they're from O'Neill's, so they are down in Wexford, and same producers that we use for the breakfast and for the bacon in the restaurant. And these are the lardons, so they won Small Producer of the Year with Simply Better, again at the Board BA quality mark, and they're excellent at dry curing the bacon. So this is the unsmoked packet that I'm going to pop in here. Just the full packet. I just literally opened it already, just with the scissors, and we're just going to literally let them kind of like cook off. Now we'll just flip over the chicken. So nice big chunks, don't be too shy. I don't want small little pieces. I want to know that you're eating some nice chicken. And I think the corn-fed chicken, you see me using it in all my recipes. I just think the flavour of it, because it's fed with maize, so it gives it that lovely kind of yellow colour, and just the flavour, it's succulent and it's moist. And if you're roasting the Simply Better chicken, the corn-fed chicken, a little bit of lemon in, a little bit of thyme and garlic works absolutely fantastic. Lovely. Now, okay, so I'm just going to let that just cook there for a moment. Throw in the mushrooms. Now you can put in some garlic, you can put in some red onion. I'm not, but I am going to put in some pesto, and I'm using the Simply Better pesto. So this is the fresh pesto, which I really like. And this is a little bit different, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some of this gravy. This is the poultry gravy. So this will work really well. It's flavoured with a little touch of Madeira and balsamic. So you're getting lovely flavours in there. And this is made from an Irish company called Spice of Life. And they're great. They're based in Dunmanway. So what about the broccoli? Well, the broccoli, what I've done is just use the big, you know, the big head of broccoli, cut it down into florets, and I've literally just pre-cooked this. So you steam it or blanch it into boiling water with a touch of salt, and literally for about 30-40 seconds. So it's still firm, it's not cooked, it's just blanched, and then I refresh it underneath cold water, and that's really important. So what happens is that it will just stop it from overcooking, because you wanted to cook in with the chicken and in with the sauce and in the oven. So that's what we're doing there. So I'm not looking to get any more kind of colour, I'm just looking to combine all these lovely flavours. Now I'm going to get some fresh thyme, one of my favourite herbs. Love it, you see me using it a lot. And then into the sauce we're going to put some of the Drina cheddar, which I'll talk about. So fresh thyme, if you just literally pick off these tiny little kind of sprigs, the leaves there, it's one of my favourites. And of course you could use tarragon, you could use basil, you could use some parsley. So it's totally up to you, whatever herb you like. Fresh herbs like that, they're just great, and they add so much freshness. So just pick off those little leaves. If you have any of the little kind of stalks left, you can freeze them and keep them if you make stock, or even if you're roasting vegetables, just put them over there, and they're great actually in a marinade, but there is flavour there. Okay, so that's lovely. Yeah, so you can see the chicken is lightly browned. I don't want too much browning on it. That's nice there, and the butter will give you that, and it's still raw in the centre, by the way, I should have said that. So now next thing we're going to do is we're going to put in the poultry gravy. So I'm going to put in the full tub. Okay, so that's made from Spice of Life. They're based in Dunmanway, and I've had the pleasure going down to visit them. So they do the beef gravy for Simply Better. They also do the really lovely peppered sauce. Now I'm going to put in a couple of spoonfuls of the fresh basil pesto. I love this. We use this so much. It is so delicious, even with some sourdough and a little bit of serrano ham. It's so tasty. Now to enrich this and to bring this all together, because I'm not putting any flour into it, it's kind of a nice light, what I call a nice light chicken bake. I'm going to put in some cream, and I'm using double cream. So double cream is just a nice heavier, richer cream for this. So that's about 100 mils. I'm sure you like the way I measured that. So just stir that through there. So we've already seasoned the chicken, and then we're going to pop in the broccoli. Now you could actually cook this out and serve it with some pasta or rice, whatever like that, but I think baking it all together, and we're going to add in some lovely cheese. So I want to talk to you about this lovely cheese. It's the Drina cheddar. Okay, so Bannon Co-op, we're just going to literally grate this, and I'm using my box grater. So it's a really lovely everyday cheddar, and we love it in our house. Great if you're doing like a wrap or a toasty, anything like that. It's so delicious, so it is. So just using the box grater, we're going to grate this. We're going to add some of this in, and the broccoli, and then that just goes into the oven with some breadcrumbs. It's as easy as that. If you wanted to, you could par-cook some pasta, pop it in there, and then bake it off. But I kind of wanted just to keep the chicken and just some nice mushrooms and bacon. I think it works well with the broccoli. So I'm just grating this here. You can have it already pre-grated if you want it. Just using my box grater. And we're going to put a good sprinkling of that, and then we're going to leave some for the breadcrumbs. Now stir that through. So the broccoli, remember what I've done now, I've par-cooked it, so that means it's blanched, but it is cold. And we just coat everything together now, because I want to bake this off in the oven. I already have one done, because it takes about 20-25 minutes to bake it through until the chicken is cooked. Now just get your dish, and then probably the easiest thing to do is just to get a spatula and to scrape this out. So this is my oven-proof dish that's going to go into the oven, and all those lovely juices, so that's the poultry gravy, the cream, the pesto, the great smells, the bacon in there, and then just kind of mix this all through. So kind of spread out the broccoli. So it's a very, very simple recipe. There's nothing complicated about it. So good. Now next is our breadcrumbs. So we're going to sprinkle this all over. Plenty of these, and these are the Simply Better ciabatta breadcrumbs from Mr. Crumb. So plenty of that. You could cover this, actually I should have said, with some puff pastry. A little bit more work in that. I wanted to kind of keep it a little bit simpler. For me, the key ingredient was the good chicken and that lovely sauce, and then some cheese. So I love that cheddar cheese. I think I've said that once or twice. Now, there we go. And then a little bit more just fresh thyme, and just pick off a couple of little bits just over the top. Or you can chop in some parsley if you want to. Just like that. And then a few more breadcrumbs. And then that goes into the oven. So I already have one done. My one in the oven took about 20-25 minutes until it was just kind of nice and golden brown. Just switch the oven off. I'm going to show you that now. So into the oven, preheat the oven 180, and about 20 minutes should be okay. And that really depends on the size you cut the chicken. So this is it here. It's like musical chairs. So there's kind of no kind of thickening agent in this. There's no flour or corn flour, anything like that. But it is really, really tasty. And I'll just show you. You have the chicken in there, you have the sauce. It's really kind of lovely and kind of wet. I don't want a really dry, kind of like chicken and broccoli bake. Serve that with rice. I think would work well. A baked potato, mashed potato, whatever you like with it. I think it works really well. Or even some buttered pasta if you wanted to. So that's a really simple recipe using the corn-fed chicken and then the poultry gravy, and you have that nice flavour from the mushrooms, the bacon, a little bit of thyme. So I think it's a lovely, lovely recipe that all the family will enjoy. So I hope you give this recipe a go, and happy cooking.